Hello, this is Dave Savage, and I am the CEO of Mortgage Coach. Today, we are going to walk you through how to create an effective mortgage coach email. And to help us do that, we have a great mortgage coach, Tim Lamb. How are you doing, Tim?
Doing great this morning, Dave.
Good, good. So, while I've had you on a lot of mortgage coach calls and people have heard you before, if you could just give us a quick update on your mortgage practice, how many loans you close on average, and what market you're in.
Sure, Dave. I am in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa market, population of about 150,000 people or so, closing between 10 and 15 loans per month, and the majority of those are going to be on the purchase side of things.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I had the honor of also interviewing Felicia. I think she's your number one loan officer at your organization and number one in the state. So, great organization doing a great job of helping families make informed decisions with Mortgage Coach and, really leading as an educational provider. So today, folks, we're going to focus on Tim's process because while I've seen lots of loan officers, how they're sending Mortgage Coach reports to borrowers and realtors and all the decision makers, no one is doing it better than Tim. He's very intentional. He does a great job. So let's break this down. We all know and believe that the more value we give to the buyer, to the family, to the realtor, the more successful we are. If you are a mortgage coach and you're listening to this call, you are an educator and you believe that you're going to get value through education. And you all subscribe to this concept that we want to deliver more than just a transaction and what the cost of a transaction are. We want to help people make an informed decision. We want to help them look at the total cost of different loan options over time. And we want to do it in a graphical format. The challenge is we've got to send them that link and they've got to click on it. And it's got to have context and value. And by the way, they have to click on it. I hear a lot of loan officers say that I send out, well, I don't hear a lot. I hear some loan officers say they send out this report and not everybody clicks on it. Well, a lot of that has to do with what you say before you send the email. And a lot of that has to do with what you do in the email. So we're going to break this down with Tim. All the decision makers should be looped in to the email. So when they click on it, they're all in the loop of the advice, savings over 60 months. Whether they click on it from their desktop, their laptop, they have it. And you want to CC the realtor if it's a pre-qual or if it's a referral from a realtor, so that you're adding more value and more service, delivering these options to the home buying team. So that the realtor is in the loop and they know the options. So we all understand this concept that as a borrower, we have a loan officer. Every borrower has a friend or family member that's helping them make the decision. If they're buying a home, they have a realtor. Depending on how they manage their money, they may have different advisors. And everybody is surrounded by this network of folks that are helping them with their decision. And if you're not delivering a link, and if that link is not being clicked on because it's delivered in an email, you said the right things before you send it, you're relying on the borrower to educate everybody else. If you do it right, which we're going to help you do right now, everybody's in the loop, and they're in the loop with your link. So you could go from being app taker, transactional provider, to educational value provider. So Tim, let's break this down. We've got a checklist that we put together for folks, but just high level, before we get into the checklist, what's important to an effective email delivering a mortgage coach experience?
I think the first thing, Dave, is setting up the email that you're going to be sending to the borrowers, and even if you're talking to the real estate agent at the beginning of the process, they need to know that that email is coming, first of all, what the email will entail, and then what they need to do once they get it. I think if you just blindly send this email out to them, I think your conversion rate or the open rate is going to go down. But if you're on the phone with them or face-to-face with them and you're following up with an edge report, I think you've got to be very specific that this email will be coming, and your job is to open that link, click on the link, digest the information, and then we will have time to answer all the questions and get it taken care of.
Got it. So pre-framing is important. So a couple homework assignments, everyone, is I did a complete scripting interview with Jeremy Forcier, and he's got great scripts. And that call was really specific around what to say to realtors, what to say to buyers, what to say to CC the realtor. So we also have script quick hits. And so we break down scripts. Tim, I do think it's appropriate before we get into the email. Why don't you just kind of give us a minute or less on some of your scripting before you send the email, and then let's get into the email itself.
I try to keep it as simple as I can, Dave. And when I'm meeting with the borrower through the phone, let's say they have a phone application, we're just getting a conversation started. My job is to add value to them right away so I can differentiate myself. So I initially start out with whatever I'm conversating around, whether it's 5% down loan scenarios, and I follow up just saying to start our conversation to help you get the best financing for your customized situation. I'm going to send you a link to a presentation that is 3 or 4 minutes long about your specific options around what you're trying to finance. I'm going to do that via email. You'll have that this afternoon by 4 o'clock or whatever my timeline is, and then we will schedule a time on that same call to follow up so I can review that information. So I'm telling them that it's customized to them. It's going to be educational, it's going to be valuable, and they need to take the 3 or 4 minutes to listen to that. And as soon as they do, my conversion rate goes through the roof as far as getting those clients.
Beautiful. So, I mean, if you're buying a home, if you're refinancing a home, if you're looking at mortgage option, a loan officer says, I'm going to put something customized for you. It's going to be a few minutes. It's going to be educational. It's going to help you make an informed decision. Are you going to click on that? Probably. So great expectation setup. So we want people to go from email to looking at a report. And again, remember, if they click on this from a desktop, they get a desktop experience. Any mobile device, they get a mobile experience. So let's go through this checklist. And everybody, while you're listening to this call, pull up one of your emails that you've sent recently and really connect the dots. What are you doing? What are you not doing? And by the way, if you've got a best practice of something that you're doing that we don't have on this list and you think it's key, let us know. Send me an email, Dave@Mortgage Coach. I watched the Tim Lamb video, and here's a best practice that I recommend. I'm always looking for ways to do better. So if you think you've got something that you're doing that we're not, and you want to shout it out, we'll do another video like this. So Tim, walk us through this.
So these, I just kind of put together a checklist of what I've been doing. This is kind of always evolving, kind of how I'm growing as a lender as well as specifically to the consumer that I'm dealing with. But the top point there is include all decision makers. So if it's a married couple, send it to both of them. If they have a real estate agent, make sure you're sending it to the real estate agent. I've had so many responses back. This is the best technology. This is the coolest thing. I've never seen anyone educate borrowers like this before. I love it. All those great comments will come from your realtors. But on the decision makers, perfect example. I copied the borrower, her fiance into it, and the fiance's father into this conversation. And all three of them reviewed it at different times. Lots of confusion over the different loan options I was able to do, but I was able to get all three of them on the phone at the exact same time using Edge Live, and was able to walk through with all three of them at different locations and got them all on the same page, noting that whatever option they chose, everyone was understanding that exact loan program, and there was no further questions and there was no further confusion between the fiance and the parents and so forth. So the decision makers need to be involved in this initial Edge presentation so that way everyone is on the same page. They're comfortable with the terminology. They're comfortable with the loan that you're doing. So this very top point is a huge, huge tool that you've got to make sure that you're including on this email list, Dave.
Great. All right. Keep on going.
All right, perfect. And then the realtor, as I said, has got to be included them in there. Obviously, number one, it shows that you are completely different than anyone else in your market. You are taking the extra step, getting out of that fee worksheet and really educating your consumer on what options are available to them and getting away from what the fees and the payments is or the fees and the interest rate are and getting into what the total cost of borrowing that loan is over time. And I copy myself on every one of these emails just so I have it in my file. So that way I know what I put together in that link, what specific links that I send over to them. I may include a couple different links depending on what the scenario is, but I always copy myself on it. So it's just a good practice on myself.
So hey, before you get into the subject line and the body real quick, I don't know if everybody heard Tim, but he talked about cost over time. Well, that's something that, Mortgage Coach, we've believed in and we've powered for, since we founded the company 16 years ago. But as of 2015, the new CFPB requirements on the new GFE are going to require you to disclose the cost of the loan over 5 years. So it's been common sense and a great strategy to deliver education forever. It's going to become a requirement in 2015. So folks, you really need to get on the bandwagon and you need to sharpen how you are delivering edge reports and making sure that you're delivering this to each and every one of your clients. But go ahead, let's get into subject line and body.
So subject line, I try to keep it as simple as I can on that subject line. I put in there getting started with your new house, or I put in there something just really catchy that they know that that email is coming from them. Sometimes I'll put in their presentation from Tim Lamb on there, so that way they know it's from me. It was the presentation that I pre-prepared them for in the conversation that I would have, or just title it simply, Your Options. So make it very specific, very simple, so that way they don't have to know or think through what it is. It's just Tim Lamb, Your Options we talked about on the phone, or something very catchy. So again, they open up that email, and then they can get into the body of the email.
All right. Body?
Simply, on the body of the email is I try to keep it as short and concise as I possibly can. I want to show some value, why I'm a little bit different. I talk about being their mortgage professional. I talk about being what I do throughout the process, how I can help them in that process, and just try again to set myself apart a little bit different in that email than everybody else does.
So, this is a drill down of what Tim does and how he does it, just to, bring some things I've heard from other top producers. I love all of Tim's ideas on the subject line. I have some clients that, really always make sure that they put the borrower's name within that subject line. So their name, mortgage plan, or mortgage options. So that's a thought. And in the body, I have some clients that review back just one or two of the goals. So to me, there's no one formula. There's just a checklist of things. As long as the body is simple and you don't overdo it to the point where why click on the email? But, it's not a bad idea to put in what was one or two of the goals or pain points of the client. And now here are your options. Not a bad idea. So let's talk about custom link and some of the other ideas here.
So when we get, as you build your report with the Edge software, it gives you kind of a lengthy hyperlink on where that borrower needs to go to. And it's not the prettiest looking thing, but you can really quickly edit by right-clicking on that and edit the hyperlink. And the reason that I do that is, I want to make it as customized to my borrower as I can. So you can see directly in the email, I've got click here, and then I've got dawdle family loan options. So I want to make it something, obviously, first of all, that sticks out. Second of all, I want to make it customizable to them, and I also want to tell you what it is. So I'm getting it to them. I'm being specific for their family and the loan options that we talked about in our initial conversation. So I think that's a quick and easy way to customize the report even further for them and to help them know exactly where to click and where they can get more information about what we talked about.
Love it. Continue.
And then, I was going to say, and then the next thing on that checklist, Dave, was, and this is something that I just implemented recently, probably in the last 3 or 4 months, I've added, instead of just allowing my consumer to digest that information on their own and process it, I've actually scheduled a follow-up appointment with them before I send that information over to you. So I'm pre-scripting at the initial that they need to open up this email, review the presentation, and then, in this example, reconnecting tomorrow at 12 o'clock so we can go through the information.
So
I found it, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue, and then I just want to add something to that.
Nope. What I've found is the consumers go through the information, and it's great and it's wonderful, but they still have some unknown questions, or they don't understand exactly how the PMI option works versus the no PMI scenario. So I want to make sure that I reconnect with them at a specific time that is good for both of our schedules so they can review it, and then we can answer all of their questions, and we can continue adding value to them and help them walk through that journey of picking the perfect financing for them.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to call out. I mean, that's not only great for the email, it's just a great sales strategy to make sure that when you're meeting with someone, you did, kind of a needs analysis of what they needed. Now you're delivering a presentation. And at the end of that needs analysis, to confirm your next meeting. So, I mean, that's just good sales strategy to make sure you schedule. It's not like, hey, I'm going to send this to you, and then I'm going to herd you, trace you down, and get you back another call. You've rescheduled that. So part of the expectations that you create before sending the link, they want the link, they understand that it's customized, they understand that there are options, and they've already got a review meeting scheduled with you. I mean, smart selling. So let's wrap it up with what you do on the interest rates and rate watch here.
So I utilize, if you're not utilizing the Rate Watch feature, this is awesome. So it is, and I keep it very simple. As you can see, I just put a PS at the very bottom. I put the chart for the last 30 days on what interest rates are, and I just put that chart in there. And then I just simply put at the very bottom, we'll talk more about this tomorrow at 12 o'clock. The reason that I do that is I want to engage my borrowers that I have some kind of a pulse on what's going on with interest rates, and they have no idea what that chart is, but it's definitely one of those questions that I can lead into and add more value, and they're not going to get that from any other loan officer as they're getting there. Now they've received a fee sheet from that other borrower, and they're trying to go through that. After they've done my EDGE presentation, we've reconnected, answered all those questions, and now I'm educating them on what the overall trend on interest rate mark is. It's another tool that we have to use in order to separate ourselves from all the other competition out there.
All right, so let's talk about the Rate Watch and adding the charts. So as a mortgage coach, hopefully you have already downloaded the Rate Watch app. If you haven't, go to your app store, whether you're Android or iOS, put in Rate Watch, one word, download this app. It's part of your membership. And then you'll notice that there's a share button in the upper right-hand corner. So if you click on that share button in any of the screens that you're in, and again, if you want to, in that parameters right above share, you can actually tailor what period of time you're going to show it. And then there's also the day watch. So if you click on that share, you're going to get options: email, text, Facebook, or copy to clipboard. So this is one way to get a visual image that can be integrated into an email. We have a lot of loan officers that are sending the day watch out, whether it's to educate the customer or provide the education to drive them into the rate lock. Just a great tool and great resource for you to use so that you can integrate it. So another one, this is what Tim does. He's always showing the 30-year, and I hear that from a lot of loan officers, but I also hear a lot of loan officers that they're tailoring that, based off of the conversation. It may be the day watch. It may be the rates over 10 days. It may be the rates over a longer period of time, but you're always trying to be an educator. You're always trying to say, you know what, I am the smartest loan officer, and I'm showing you, I'm demonstrating it. And by the way, telling people is not the way to tell them you're the smartest loan officer. Just be the smartest loan officer. Deliver advice, deliver mortgage options, and use Rate Watch when you're in the marketplace. So a couple other training resources for you as you're watching this. It's important that you add audio or video to your report. So we have a checklist. And again, I've done a different video with Bill Hart on how to create an EDGE video. I also did one with Roberto Monaco. But here's a checklist, key questions to ask as when you create that audio or video. Did you mention the names of the borrowers? Did you endorse the referral partner? Did you repeat the goals of the borrower? Did I challenge and educate the client? Did I highlight the key benefits? Now, by the way, I am talking about what's in the audio and video. If you start getting into highlighting key benefits, you start explaining options, you start emphasizing the cost and the benefits over time, now there's no reason for them to click on that. So this is what you want to do within the link. What you want to do in front of the link is you want to give them enough information so they click on the link and they get your education and they get your advice. And again, Now, everybody who's involved in that home buying decision, they're getting a sense of your energy. They're getting a sense of your personality. They're getting a sense of how much you really care about helping folks. They're getting a sense that I listened and now I'm sharing and teaching. So it's just important that you add that audio or video so that you stop. You know, my goal is stop delivering just transactional fees, start delivering the cost over time. Every family who's getting into debt deserves to know what is the cost of that loan over time that they're going to likely be in the property, and to see it in a graphical format so that it's easy to understand. And every realtor deserves that his clients, his or her clients, get options that way and that they're in the loop. So start using, you know, great and better emails, sending out Edge to everybody, and using RateWatch. This is not only a great testimonial and review, it's a review from the App Store, but it's a great teaching. You know, when a customer asks you, what are rates? Or if you're at a party or some social event and someone says, what are interest rates? Don't just tell them, show them. And hopefully when it comes to the emails, you start writing those better. So a couple reminders, every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, we're doing a coaching call where I'm interviewing great loan officers and great leaders. Every Thursday, we're training. We're teaching you how to create videos and reports. And every Friday, if you haven't done 20 mortgage coach experiences, we'll get you started. So as I mentioned, Bill Hart, Coach Bill Hart, and I created a video. So if you haven't watched this video and you want to create more effective mortgage coach videos, this is a 14-minute and 24-second video that Bill and I created, just how to create a more effective video. And there'll be a link to this in the description of this video. Also, I mentioned that scripting video earlier. So this is a full hour of me just interviewing Jeremy Forcier on what his scripts are. We also took some of those scripts and we have a script, you know, MC Scripts playlist where we break out specific common scripts. Here's one: what to say to the borrower so they appreciate that you looped in the realtor. What to say to the borrower when you present a TCA. You know, how to position Mortgage Coach prior to the email. So, you know, all these videos and more. So hopefully this has been valuable. As a mortgage coach, you are the best loan officers in America. So be the best. And Tim, any final thoughts or comments as we wrap up today's training?
I would say just take the information that was shared today and customize it to your own personality and to your clients. Have fun with it, try it out, see what works best for you, get the results. All I know is that Edge is a powerful tool to educate your consumers. They want the education, so take the time to dive into Edge, learn it, and then utilize an effective email to get those opened and convert those borrowers.
Well, hey, Tim, thanks for being a great teacher in the Mortgage Coach community. Again, I would love to see everybody's video. So if you are Edge emails. So if you're really proud of how you're delivering an Edge report to your buyer, decision maker, looping in the realtor, forward it to me. Dave at Mortgage Coach. We're always learning. We're always getting better. Always looking for more best practices. Have a great day, everybody. And Tim, thank you very much.
My pleasure.